what does this Tenancy Act mean for you, and we'll discuss the provisions of this act, and we would love you to come back to us with, will you lease your house now if the problem areas are sorted out. We will be running a poll. We'll shortly come back to you with a poll. Do take the poll. At the end of the show, we will tell you what the results are. That will give us a fair indication of how the market is behaving right now, what consumers think about it. Prabhakar, the Tenancy Act, let's quickly tell the consumers what this Tenancy Act means.
Now, first of all, this Tenancy Act clearly suggests that government is serious about putting these idle assets in use. And so they are trying to, and they are going to bring in a model code of the act, or the model code for the tenancy. Now certainly this is a state subject, so ultimately state government has to implement it. But right now the union government has introduced a model code of, or the model act for this. Basically it has put for suggestions, and any readers can go on the government site, with the housing ministry site, and give suggestion for that. Now this model act suggests that now that there should be an authority where all the tenancy or all this agreement between landowner and the tenant, that will be registered, and in that registration, that proposal, it will be clearly mentioned that what is the term and condition of tenancy, when it is going to be terminated, and what is the rent.
So this becomes almost like a RERA kind of documentation, right?
Yeah, documentation should be complete.
Like project documentation on RERA, similarly tenancy documentation, which was completely neglected in India, right?
Exactly, there is no such things right now, and that proposal, or that basically agreement, will be registered with that authority. Number one. Number two, it also suggests that the day that agreement is terminated, the tenant should vacate it, and if tenant fails to vacate it, then from the next month the rental will be doubled, and that will continue for 2 months. And even the tenant did not vacate it or could not vacate it,
then is
doubled again. So the 4 times of that. And in the meanwhile, the landowner can move to the authority for the vacation, the order for the to vacate the house, and then he can force the tenant to vacate the house also.
Yeah.
So that means that house is secured and he can lease it out. Now today the problem is this, that if tenant doesn't vacate the house, then and you go to file a civil suit against that person,
it can go on for years.
Exactly, for 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, you don't know.
Yes.
And the interesting part is this, that tenant is enjoying the fruits of the house and he is making money.
And the landlord is running around.
And he is losing money also. So this was the very tough situation. So
now we'll take the other side of the picture. There are landlords who arbitrarily have raised the rent amount without any. I mean, there was no control over that. And tenants have also suffered. Also, the amount of rent advance that they took, now it's been capped at 2 months, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But in a city like Bangalore, you can pay anywhere between 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, 12 months.
12 months of rent advances. Now that, in fact, that spawned a new business. There were some companies which came and said, I will fund your rent advances.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that was bad for the rental market, and a lot of people have raised this issue consistently. Prabhakar, at the bottom of the pyramid, people who pay between 7,000 to about 10,000 rupees. And this doesn't necessarily mean that this is only the informal workforce. It also means the very young adults who are entering the workforce with a salary of about 10, 12, 15,000 rupees. They were also in the same...
more than that, for 30,000.
Even, and think about it, these they had to live either in the Abadi areas where there was overbuilding and it was in the village areas or on the peripheries of the villages, or it was clearly there was nothing formal about that rent arrangement, right?
Exactly.
One person could take it, 5 people could stay in the room.
Yeah.
The landlord would say you have to come at this time, go at this time, and there were many problems there. A few years ago, we talked about 3 years ago, Magic Bricks did a study on behalf of the Ministry of Housing, and we did a survey of the NCR region. That is 5 cities: Delhi, Faridabad, Gurgaon, Noida and Greater Noida, and Ghaziabad. And we studied the lower income housing, and we said the low tenancy housing, which means that anything between 2,000 to about 10,000 rupees. We capped it at 10,000. When we studied these areas, we found that the facilities were very, very poor. The living quality of lifestyle was quite pathetic, and we also found that there were no norms on tenancy. We also found, talked to about 100 consumers, and found that most of the people who come to the city to work, the security expensive that it made serious dents in your
for that
income.
class of tenants particularly, it is
Absolutely.
impossible.
Very price sensitive tenants. The second thing was that they wanted to stay where there were basic facilities. Cleanliness and sanitation was a must. You also to have, the new migrants to the city always want to lease the house till they figure out what the city is all about. Which means that it's such a critical thing. Rented housing is so critical.
Yeah. Not only this, just look, that if we suppose, basically they migrated from village to city just to earn money.
Right. And send it back.
Send it back.
Yes.
And after sometimes they go back.
Yeah.
Now for this period, if he thinks to buy the house, then the capital cost is so high
Yeah.
that if he borrows that money, he cannot pay the EMI even.
In fact, even in borrowing, Prabhakar, one of the problems that we saw with the informal sector is if you don't have a pay slip, then the amount of, the interest rates are very high on you.
16%.
16%, yeah.
Even today.
And also you don't get the benefits of the CLSS schemes.
Anything.
No subsidies come to you, and you're not able to buy that house,
Yeah,
or your
but the rental
servicing.
house he can still manage to
Rental
live in.
housing he can still
I mean, he
manage.
can still live in Delhi, can work and enjoy the benefit of other things and earn money and can go back to his village for the rest of his life. So, and I believe this kind of an act is certainly going to facilitate that situation and will help these people to improve their quality of life.
Sure.
Particularly today, the whims and fancy of the landowner is so much bothering them
Yeah.
that one fine day landowner comes down that boss, tomorrow you vacate the house. Now these guys have no idea where to go, and the landowner come and they put their entire belongings to outside on the road. So that will not happen with this, and I believe that government should do something to take this tenancy act to that level also.
Yeah.
And they will start registering even those tenants
Yes.
agreement also. And I believe that the people will also go for it, because this on the one hand safeguard the house of their house particularly from the occupation by the tenants, and at the same time it will regularize the entire rents also. So I believe it is good, and only thing is this, that government has to take it down to the lowest level.
But don't you think that the registration fee, the stamp duty, even for registering a rent agreement, lease agreement, there is a duty. The charges are quite high even today, right?
I believe that they'll have to do away at least for certain level. Say that till say 20,000 rupees per month kind of a tenant
Yeah.
rent. Till that they must say that okay, there will be no stamp duty will be paid on for the registration. Now that will help them in regularizing this market also.
Sure.
Now even if they will continue to use it or to make money, I believe then the entire thing will be defeated.
Yes, actually it's a good law.
Yeah.
Very, very honestly, this is one of the best laws that India can have after RERA.
Yeah.
Along with RERA and Tenancy Act, you have more or less solved a lot of the
Real
problems
estate
that the
problem.
real estate industry face. But the important thing is how will you implement it and how well it will be implemented. Right now, it is on the website of the Ministry and Ministry of Housing.
Minister of Housing.
It's on the Ministry of Housing website, and it is open for the public to read and give your suggestions. So do make sure that if you are living in any of the cities in urban India, this is going to impact you directly. So do go up to make the effort to read the act and give your suggestions, because after all it's going to impact you. We have one poll running right now. What problems do you face while renting a property? Security deposit, location, high rent, water and electricity. Do take our poll. We would like to know what are the biggest issues that hamper your leasing problems. Prabhakar, we've already started getting a lot of queries here, so I thought we should pick up some of the queries. There is Rakesh Kumar of Delhi who says, can we send our feedback to the government with regard to the draft tenancy law 2019? Please suggest.
Yes.
Of course, Rakesh, we will also, if you go to the to our website Magic Bricks and go to the content section, we will be posting this on our content section. It is on the Ministry of Housing's website and it is called the Draft Tenancy Agreement. If you read that, you can as individuals post your comments.
This is mohua.gov.in.
It is http mohua.gov.in. So please take that. We'll be showing it to you. Deepak, maybe we can show it on our website as well. That this is how this is the website. We will be sharing it on this, so you will know where to do that. There is Ruchi Sharma of Gurugram. I'm a single working woman, recently shifted to Gurgaon. In some locations, owners ask for 6 months security deposit. Will this change with the new law? Yes, of course it will change with the new law. You will have to pay not more than 2 months security deposit, right? The new law act proposes that once it's formalized, we will come back to you with what is the amount. It's clearly to take the pressure off people like this, right?
Yeah, and now look, suppose if the landowner asks for the 6 months or 1 year kind of a advance tenancy, tenant advance, then that means if you want to vacate the house on your own this month, still that landowner may force you to either continue for some more time, or they might keep you most of the advances, and they still say, okay, I will not be able to give you because I'm not going to get the tenant very soon.
Right.
So this is a huge problem, and I believe that government must address this problem, and this act, I hope that will do that.
Yeah,
but only thing is this, that all the state governments should also adopt it as soon as possible. The day this model act is passed by the parliament, the other state governments should adopt it, and particularly I hope that Haryana, which is also BJP run government, I believe that they will adopt the central, which is also BJP run, very soon.
Actually, this should be outside of political differences, because this is something that across India tenants are facing these problems, landlords are facing these problems. In fact, when the Ministry of Housing did a survey of all the houses in urban India, they found about 11 million houses, 1.1 crore houses are locked up for various reasons. When we did a survey, most of the landlords told us that it is they find it unsafe, or they find it difficult to manage that rental, either find the right tenants, and also to make sure that they vacate on time or they pay their rent on time. We have several instances which has come to us where the tenants either do not vacate, or the landlord randomly increases the rent, and therefore the concept of the 11 months lease came. When you have to get a lease agreement registered, there is a stamp duty that you have to pay, and because people wanted to avoid that stamp duty, they started using the 11 months lease. 11 months is a valid document, even if it is not notarized. If it's not registered, it can be only notarized, and therefore most of India started going on that 11 months lease. But even that, it's very difficult. We raised this issue in Haryana. There used to be a Rent Control Act. After 10 years, any property that completed 10 years, there used to be a Rent Control Act. after which the landlord had to go to the civil courts and ask for what he could do was ask for the rent to be paid, but not vacation of the property was very, very difficult.
Yeah.
We raised this issue in Magic Bricks, and after that Haryana amended its rent laws. Tamil Nadu amended its rent laws. So clearly states are thinking progressively, and this national act to be adopted in every state is a good
Yeah,
suggestion.
and particularly right now, whatever act is there, the court doesn't take them very seriously,
Yes.
and court still favors the landowners and that of this tenants, and that affects the landowners' rights, and that is why 1.1 crore houses now.
It's a
imagine
huge number.
that if each house average cost is 25 lakh rupees, which is normally
Yeah.
it is much higher,
Yeah.
then still 25 lakh means 25 lakh crore worth of assets lying unutilized.
Absolutely. In a
Imagine,
country
in a
where
country-
there is shortage of
capital,
housing.
huge shortage of capital, shortage
Capital,
of
housing, and there is a problem,
Huge.
and this problem had to be addressed. We are quite happy that the union government
Exactly.
has decided to pick it up. There is Neeti Singh of Gurugram who says, does the new law talk about the security of rental housing? Whose responsibility to ensure security of premises where women are living or old age people living in a rental home? That's not part of it.
That is the basically law and order problem in this country, and then I believe that you will have to find the area where the law and order is good, and you should live. You can live in that kind of a locality only.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the landowner will not guarantee that security aspect of
Nobody
that
can
area.
guarantee.
Yes, the police only can do
Yes,
that.
nobody can guarantee the security or the
No.
safety of you in your house. What they can do is, if you pay your maintenance, if there are guards there, if there are cameras, you'll have to work at the community level and also work with the police, local
Yeah.
police. But can a landlord guarantee your safety within the house? He can give you a house that is in a locality that is in the gated community. But
That
he
you'll
can,
have to choose. Now,
you
if
will
he
have
wants to see choosing one individual house,
Yeah.
then even that will not be
Yeah, yeah.
available. So if you are living in a say condominium, then in condominium you'll have to see to it that whether the guards are there on that condominium or not, security system is in place or not. So all that things that tenant has to find out, and then he should or she should choose to take on the rent.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Giri Singh of Delhi says, I'm moving to Bengaluru and want to take a house on rent. When I contacted brokers there, they told me that I will have to pay 2 years security deposit and will have to make a lease document. Should I move to Bengaluru or stay in Delhi? Well, if you can afford to pay 2 years lease. But I think that's an extreme situation. Please understand that on an average 6 to 10 months is what the Bengaluru owners take as an advance. There are companies in Bengaluru who actually give you that money, the lease deposit that you have to pay, and you can pay that over a period of 10 months or a year or something like that. So we have also done a couple of shows around that. If you look on MBTV, you will see that these shows are available to you. But
With this act, it will be changed.
but remember, this is a draft model act.
Yeah.
It has to go through till August. It is open for you to give your suggestions. After which it has to clear Parliament. After that, every state has to implement it. So, will it help you if you are planning to move now? Not really.
No.
It'll take another at least 6 months to a year
Yeah.
before this becomes a act, and therefore you should plan accordingly. Would you not go to Bangalore just because the landlord is asking more money? I don't think so. I think you probably are thinking of Bangalore because you've got a better job, you've got a higher salary and so on. What you must do is look around somewhere and go for a house where the landlord does not ask for 2 years deposit, but maybe about 6 to 10 months deposit. That is the norm there. There is Vijay Kumar of Mumbai who says, I took a 3 BHK flat when we were 3 people. Now 1 person has left the house and there are only 2 people in the house. Can we sublet this flat? What will be the legal consequences?
No, you can't.
Uh,
Subletting is not allowed because in the tenant agreement it is very clearly mentioned that the subleasing is not allowed. Even in this act, the subleasing is not allowed. That is only if you take the permission from the
Yes.
landowner
Yeah.
that I want to sublease it, and with the permission of the landowner, and he will enter into a tripartite agreement with that person, the new tenant, and you can do that.
So you must go back to your landlord. I'm sure when three of you took the house on rent, either each of you signed in, or the person who one of you took the house on lease, and with the knowledge of the landlord, three of you are staying there. You will have to negotiate this with your landlord, as Prabhakar says. There is Bhakti Kaur of Pune who says, I am an old man, so far I kept my house vacant in the fear that renting out will invite a risk of losing my property as my kids live outside India. How will this new law help old citizens like me?
Now, this is for the security of this only, security of the house to give on rent. This model act is going to come, and it is very, very helpful for that sake particularly. And now under this act, if that person, that tenant, is not vacating your house on the due date, then rent automatically will be doubled for the next 2 months. And even in the next 2 months he is not vacating it, then it will go up to the the 2 times of the original rent, and then it will become the 4 times of the original rent. Meanwhile, you can move to this
Tenancy courts.
tenancy courts authority, and then authority will work out, and they will pass an order to vacate the house against that tenant, and then he needs to vacate the house. And he
Very
will-
quickly, to help you understand that a tenancy court is a court,
Dedicated court.
a dedicated court. So, where in civil courts you have to rub shoulders with all the problems of the world, here only those who have tenancy problems will come, and because that is the volume of cases is lower, yeah, and because this is consumer facing, it will be much easier for you to get this resolved, and therefore you don't need to be intimidated in going to a court like that, like the RERA courts. Individuals go and argue themselves in the RERA courts. Similarly, in the tenancy courts, you can go, and the magistrates and the officers there are actually attuned and trained to understand the problems of the average citizen and help you as soon as possible.
Not only this, now earlier what used to happen that there was no agreement per se, and the court was not implementing that agreement. Court was going by the need of that house,
Yeah.
that whether you need the house or the tenant
Yes,
needs the
absolutely.
house. But now under this new act, and the new court will basically adjudicate that what is your agreement, and they will try to implement that agreement. If your agreement says that that house was given on tenancy for 12 months or through 2 years or 3 years, then after that it need to be vacated. And so this act is to that extent pro landlords, and so in the new circumstances, approaching to a court, particularly this tenancy court, will be very helpful.
We've got a very interesting question here from Radhika Kumar of Greater Noida. I want to rent out a 2 BHK flat in a high-rise society in Greater Noida. The landlord lives in Dubai and he wants to rent the rent to be submitted to his relative in this case. What should I do? Does the new law cater to cases like this? That should not be a problem. Whoever the owner of the property is, the rent goes in the name of the owner. You can give it by, you can hand over the checks to
Anybody.
to the relative, but the name on the check has to be the owner of the property.
Exactly, and
The-
then it will go in his account.
It goes into his account, it cannot go into anyone else's account.
Yeah.
So if he says give it to my relative, that is illegal and you can't do that.
Or otherwise, in the agreement itself, it has been mentioned that, okay, you can give rent to such and such person.
On behalf of.
On behalf of me,
Yes.
then you can give it.
Yeah. Depending, so your tenancy agreement should be accordingly made.
Yeah.
Deepak Singh says, ma'am, my brother is living in Mumbai. He is in a dilemma whether to buy a house or keep on living on rent. What should he do? This is something that world over people are grappling with. If you live on rent, remember that you can buy, lease whichever house that you can afford to lease. If that same house you want to buy, you will find that you need a much higher income than what you have today. So what happens is you will have to compromise on the locality that you live in and the type of house that you live in, you will probably have to shrink your requirements to fit what you can afford to buy. This is one consideration that consumers have. The second consideration is that if you're paying, say, let's assume that your monthly rent that you're paying is about 25,000 rupees. Now, if you buy a house, how much do you have to pay? Your monthly EMIs. If your monthly EMIs are about 5 to 10% more than what your rent is, then it is a good idea for you to go for to buy a house, because in that case the monthly payouts that you're giving is securing you a asset which is an appreciating asset. It will always grow in value, and what you're paying out, you will have created an asset. With lease, living on rent, you will give out, the payout will be there monthly, but you are not going to create an asset, and that is actually the base difference here. Also remember that if you have a very mobile job, for instance, you're working in Delhi for 2 years, then you're going to Bangalore for another 2 years, then you're going to Bhopal for another 2 years, will you be able to keep buying houses wherever you go? Because in India, when you sell a house, you have to pay your stamp duty and registration. When you buy a house, then also you have to pay a stamp duty and registration. This makes the transaction so expensive that whatever benefits you get, many times that benefit gets erased because of the transaction costs. Therefore, many people do not want to lease out their house, do not want to keep buying and selling. But you have an option of leasing out your house. If the tenancy laws are good, you would have created your asset. You can comfortably lease out your house without the fear that the tenant will walk away with your house. And wherever you go, maybe the second house you would like to lease. So these are the few considerations that you have.
But at the same time, now, look, now today he is in the job, so he has a source of income, and so he keep paying the rent. Now, today, after 20 years from today or 30 years from today, when he is retired, and after that, suppose first 10 years he may have been doing something here and there, and say he might be earning. But beyond that, when he's in the 70s and beyond that,
you still need a house to stay.
You need to have stay, and at that time you would like to have your own house. And I have seen people who earlier used to say that fools only buy the house and the intelligent people live in that, and I have seen even those guys suffer a lot at the old age.
So everybody, actually what the government of India is currently saying is everybody needs to have that one house for your family.
Exactly.
It could be
so
in
you
the
buy a house, I mean wherever you wish to live at the old age, say in Bhopal, say in Dehradun, say in any city where the price is not very high, buy it and then leave it on the rent, so that the constant income is keep coming till you are going there to live. And then at the old age, when you don't earn, you can't afford to live with your new income or the regular income, so at that time you can.
It's a safety net.
Safety net. It's a huge safety net.
It's a huge safety
Huge
net.
safety net. It gives you a lot of security, lot of peace of mind. I mean, so far I understand. But I don't know, some people still feel, I have come across so many people who says that only fools buy the house.
But think about it like this. If you are not ready to buy your house, at least be a disciplined investor. You can, you know that if you were buying that house, you would be paying out
much more, at least 4 to 5 times of your rental.
Absolutely.
Normally, basically, the rental is around 2% of the capital cost, whereas the EMI is at least around 8%. So it is almost 4 to 4 times.
So if
of
you're
your
living
rental.
on rent, the remaining amount that you would have paid as a EMI, you should be taking it out and saving it somewhere where it beats inflation.
Exactly.
So that money grows in value, and whenever you're ready to buy a house, you should be buying that
You should
house.
buy.
But you must have the wherewithal to buy a house. Do not spend your whole life paying a huge rent and then find that when you don't have the propensity to earn, you won't be able to buy a house, and that time you will struggle, especially in old age.
Yeah.
Ashima Ratra of Noida says, RERA was diluted when it reached the states. Don't you think the rental policy will also go down the drain like RERA?
I don't think so, because look, Now 1.1 crore houses are not being used today. It is lying idle. Now state government also knows it, and 1.1 crore houses must be owned by around 1 crore of the people. So they are also a voters of the same government. So, and at the same time, when this 1 crore houses comes into the market, even the, not only that the rental market will be regularized, that it will become very, very competitive. So it will help the person who are going to live on the rent, the tenants also. So it is good for both.
Right.
So I don't think that any state government will not go for it just for the sake of saying it that okay, I am with the tenants. Now the tenants are not in majority today. Now these are the acts framed in 50s when the just independence had come,
Yeah.
and the houses were not in plenty. There are very few houses, and more people used to live in tenant on the rent. So the government tried to protect the tenants. But today the situation has changed. Now it is large number of houses are available on rent, and the person who are going to live on the rents are not very large, so large. So certainly, like today in Gurgaon, I was talking to some of the brokers. They are saying it that was now I have the 100% person who is looking for a house, then the availability is 120 houses.
Yeah.
He said that availability of houses is much more than the person seeking to live on the rent. So now today the market has completely changed. So making use of this unused asset, I mean, in a profitable manner, I believe this act is very important, and this act will like by both the tenants as well as the landlords. So no state government will shrink from implementing this act.
Sure. Nitin Kumar says, ma'am, in current laws, can landlord ask tenant to vacate anytime? And what the current law says on security deposit?
No, 3 months he'll have to give time to the tenants to find
Legally,
out.
the legal time that the landlord has to give is 3 months.
3 months time, and even to raise the rent also, they'll have to inform the tenants
Yeah.
3 months before that they want to increase the rent from this month. So if the tenants can find some alternate arrangement, alternate house, they can move out.
Karan Singh of Navi Mumbai says, I'm taking a home on rent in Mumbai and I want it for 1 year. The landlord says he wants 11 months rent agreement and 1 year security deposit. What should I do? As of now, I don't think there is a, you will just have to hunt out and see which landlord gives you the least number of months rent advance. But I think most landlords go for 11 months agreement. I don't think in Navi Mumbai this should be such a problem. This is normally in other places because there they have leave-in license.
And the 12 months advance, I fail to understand that will they also ask to pay the rent also, or they will keep deducting from the deposit itself the rent? Because you are going to live for 11 months and you are paying for 12 months advance. So I mean
That does not seem correct. There's something wrong there. Please check out with more brokers in that locality. There is Ravish Verma from Bengaluru who says, my son lives in Bengaluru and he paid 1 year security deposit. After completion of 1 year, the landlord wants to hike rent by 15%. If he moves to other house, he will again have to pay security deposit. What should we do?
But he will get the security of 1 year
Yes.
back from here. So with that money, you pay the security.
That's
of
what
the
normally people do. You take take the lease, the deposit from one landlord and pay it on for the next one.
The other one.
Yeah. There's Meenu Reddy of Chennai who says, I paid 6 months deposit to live in a rental house in Chennai. Now this house does not have water supply and I want to vacate this flat. But my owner says if I vacate now, he will not pay back my security deposit. Will new law address this?
Yes.
The landlord cannot refuse to pay back your security deposit. He will only ask for the 3 months, and that 3 months, there's a logic behind that. The landlord cannot keep his property vacant because it's a loss of income. So you have to give him a 3-month notice saying that you're moving out of that property, and whatever is left, he will give you. Those last 3 months you can always say cut out of the security deposit,
yeah.
and the remaining money has to come back to you. There is Manish Sharma who says, मेरा सुझाव है कि सरकार को होम लोन EMI रेंट से कम करवानी चाहिए. वरना हाउसिंग फॉर ऑल के घर खाली पड़े रहेंगे।
क्या होम लोन ईएमआई से कम करवानी चाहिए, मतलब ईएमआई कम करवानी चाहिए?
ईएमआई कम करवानी चाहिए, रेंट से कम करवानी चाहिए।
अरे तो फिर कोई रेंट लेगा ही क्यों?
अगर ईएमआई कम हो
तो फिर रेंट को लेगा कोई? ऐसा नहीं होता, क्योंकि वहाँ पे आप वो घर खरीद रहे हैं वो परमानेंट के लिए, रेंट तो आप 1 महीने के ले रहे हैं। अब घर आपने खरीद लिया तो आपकी पूरी जिंदगी के लिए होगा, तो आपको उसके लिए पे तो करना ही पड़ेगा ना। तो रेंट तो हमेशा ईएमआई से कम होगा जब आप घर खरीदने के लिए जा रहे हैं। लेकिन
और ये एक मार्केट इकोनॉमी है, कोई
हाँ।
किसी को फिक्स नहीं कर सकता है। व्हाट द गवर्नमेंट इज सेइंग इज जहाँ पे लॉस वीक है वहाँ लॉस को स्ट्रेंथन करो। गवर्नमेंट ये नहीं कह रहा कि आपको ये मकान इतने में मिलना चाहिए या उतने में मिलना चाहिए। जो भी आप तय करें, आप अपने लैंडलॉर्ड से तय करें, उसके 2 महीने का एडवांस ही लैंडलॉर्ड ले सकता है, ये नहीं कि 10 महीने का एडवांस ले लिया। These are the changes that are coming।
और जिस डेट पर आपको खाली करना है आप खाली करिएगा, ये नहीं कि आप बोलिएगा मैं खाली नहीं कर रहा क्योंकि घर बहुत खूबसूरत है। आप ऐसा नहीं
ये
कर
भी
सकते।
होता है, बहुत होता है। Pankaj Milind is on our YouTube channel and says, please give land pooling scheme. Pankaj, I couldn't agree more with you. Delhi land pooling एक बहुत बड़ा अमाउंट है, अमाउंट ऑफ लैंड है जो फ्री करना चाहिए। There are everyone's dragging their feet. Only 2% of the land has been pooled so far. The DDA finally has said that हम 2 sectors को on a trial basis हम उसको प्लान कर लेते हैं, डेवलप कर देते हैं, मगर वो भी अभी बहुत ज्यादा जोर पर नहीं चल रहा है। सो आई एग्री विथ यू, that will free up a lot of land and a lot of new properties can
Particularly
come.
Delhi market.
The Delhi market's problems can be sorted out. Hira Arora of Chandigarh says, what changes the new rental law bringing to rent agreement? How will it impact landlords and tenants? Model agreement है क्या इसमें?
मॉडल एग्रीमेंट है ये, और ये बोलते हैं बेसिकली ये सिक्योरिटी दे रहे हैं लैंडलॉर्ड को। बेसिकली इट इज गिविंग सिक्योरिटी टू द लैंडलॉर्ड्स that your agreement will be implemented, and if you have asked you sign an agreement for 11 months or 2 years with your tenant, then the tenant will vacate that house on that due date, and if he is not vacating that house, then there are remedies and he will be forced to be vacated. So your house is secured. This is the most important part of the landlord part. Even from the tenancy part, tenant part, that the advances is fixed at for 2 months of the rent only, and besides that the rent cannot be increased automatically or by the whims and fancy of the landlords. He has to give 3 months notice to the tenant only before then after only he can increase it. So it is trying to protect both.
Right, and it is a fair law.
Fair.
As far as we can understand, it's a fair law. If you feel there are clauses that are not quite fair, you can raise them on the website of the Ministry of Housing. And we have Deepak, have we put up the Ministry of Housing's website? We're just going to put the place where the law is and where you can post your comments. There is Aruna Kumar of Delhi who says, should you pay in rent in case? Many places in Delhi, landlords taking lakhs of rent in case. What will the government do in this case? Aruna, I'm not sure I've understood the question. If you're saying that
No, the rent is the master market driven, no?
Rent is completely market driven. If you want to stay in say premium areas, the rent will be in lakhs.
Yeah.
If you want a lower rent, you have to move away from the.
Nobody can stop the landlord from
Asking
fixing
for
the
any rent.
Any rent. Now suppose if somebody in Mayur Vihar and landlord wish that okay he wants 10 lakh rupees per month kind of a rent for a 2-bedroom flat, nobody can stop him from asking. You should not live in that house. That's all.
Look for other houses.
Look for another house.
There's Jessia David of Singapore. I live in Singapore and my tenant refused to vacate my house in Mumbai. I have no one to fight legally in Mumbai on my behalf. Tenant wants 30 lakhs to vacate. What should I do? Now, Jessia, I empathize with you. Currently, what you should do is find a good agent who will be able to, or a good lawyer who will be able to put first send legal notices to your tenants, you need at least 3 legal notices to prove that you have tried to get the house vacated. There are lawyers available who will do this on your behalf. You have to pay the fee for that. Then there will have to be a civil suit that you will have to file. The Tenancy Act is for people like you, but like we said, the Tenancy Act is only a draft act right now. Today you can go to the website and you can put your comments there and also your issue there, and but it will take at least 6 months to a year before this becomes finally an act.
But you should start the legal process.
You should
against such
please
tenant.
don't get cowed by your tenant. Please find a good lawyer and start your process.
Yeah.
There
It's
is-
time bound, it will take time, but you can get your house vacated even today.
Yes. Vikram Singh of Noida says, I have one flat and want to buy another to rent it out. Will the new law impose any tax liabilities on people like me? I have one EMI and I want to use rental income to service my second loan. Please suggest.
No, but only thing is this, that rental income of that second house will add to your taxable income. I mean 50% of that amount, because 70% of that amount, because 30% is that will go
Tax
rebate, but the 70% of the rent will be added to your taxable income. And if you are in the 30% bracket, then you'll have to pay 30% of that amount as a tax to the government.
Right.
So that is the only thing. Otherwise, no tax liability will be.
No extra tax liability.
liability.
Vivek Malik of Ahmedabad says, what does the new law say about rent agreements? Can rent agreements be one-sided? What is penalty tenants need to pay in case they overstay in the premises? Like we said, there's a model rent, a draft tenancy agreement in this act,
Yeah.
and you can use that. We have just uploaded the website where you can put your comments. So please look on the site.
And it says that if he overstays beyond that agreement period, then the rent will be doubled for the next 2 months. And even he stays beyond that, then it will be 4 times of the original rent. And then meanwhile you can proceed to the court, the tenant court, with the eviction notice, and you can get it done.
Our producer has just uploaded the details for details on draft Model Tenancy Act 2019. Please visit http://mohua.gov.in, and we've given the draft Model Tenancy Act. We have posted it again, the draft Model Tenancy Act.php. Please go and check it out for yourself. There's Manu Gaur of Chennai who says, what is the notice period in case landlords need his house vacated in the new law?
3 months.
That is actually the same terms of that exist
Yeah.
today. You have to give a 3-month notice whether you're a landlord or a tenant. Vikram Singh of Noida says, we just addressed your question. And there is Varun Sharma of South Delhi who says, what should a tenant do in case landlord refuses to pay security deposit? In my case, landlord deducted 2 months out of 6 months money paid. He said he will have to whitewash his house. This often happens, Prabhakar. The landlord says that when you leave, there can be that they can point out that there were problems in the house, that there was some repairs that he has to do, and the landlords deduct, and there's very little that a tenant can do.
Yeah, there's a problem.
This definitely
only
is a
thing is
problem.
this, that if you can stay back, you should stay back in the same house for more time, so that your rent, the deposits could be taken back, or otherwise, you can keep the house locked till the period is the entire deposits, the advance that you
But
have
that does
paid
not
is-
really help you.
Help the buyer. Help the tenant. Exactly.
And
Including the money.
one thing that you can do is when you make your tenancy agreement, what are the fixtures that are in the house, what is the condition of the house. If it is well documented, then the landlord cannot randomly propose that there are corrections.
And even
to be
for
done.
the
Repairs.
whitewash and all that, who will bear that cost?
Yeah.
That should be mentioned in the agreement itself.
It can, and in fact in the model rent law, any repairs and any annual maintenance like whitewash has to be. What is the government doing to bring in more supply for rental housing in India? Places like Gurgaon are too expensive for renting a house for tenants. Actually, Vivekanand, one thing
This
that
act itself is
Yes.
is a move in that direction.
so that the houses which are already locked up are freed.
Yeah.
A lot of houses in places like Gurgaon were bought by investors, and investors are too scared to lease out their house because the tenants don't move out of them. And till about a year ago, there was a Rent Control Act which also was a disincentive for people to give
Yeah.
their houses on rent,
Which always favor tenants.
which always favor the tenants. Today, the Rent Control Act has been vacated. There is a new Tenancy Act in Gurgaon. The Tenancy Act is not against landlords or not against the tenants either. It's a fairly well drafted law, and we think that landlords should study that law. But again in Gurgaon, we have the maximum number of cases of tenants overstaying, especially where the landlords are overseas, like our Singapore friend.
Yeah. That Bombay question has come
Yes,
just.
yes. A lot of people from overseas have invested in places like Mumbai and Gurgaon because these were the investment hotspots. And today they're struggling with not being able to get the tenants vacated. There is Neha Mathur of Chandigarh. Should landlords take rent in cash? Is it legal, and how will the new law ensure that this practice stops in the country?
Not more than 20,000 rupees.
The maximum amount of cash transaction that you can do is 20,000.
Yeah.
If you're and the landlord should not be actually taking rent in cash, because the rent has to be declared. Rental income has to be declared. The minute he takes it in cash, that means that he's trying to beat the system.
Yeah.
There is Anil Sharma who says, where will landlords and tenants go in case of dispute on rental property? Will there be new courts or the same courts for rental cases? In courts, it takes years for a case to be fully
The
resolved.
new court is going to be set up for this purpose.
Very similar to the RERA courts.
Yeah.
It's a special court which will handle only rental properties. So there you are, there are all kinds of problems, all kinds of questions, and a very critical thing that impacts you and me in our daily lives. If you own a property, you want to lease it out. If you live on rent, you have to keep changing houses every 11 months. What are the problems that you face, and how do you solve these? The government is seized of the matter, and they're trying to propose a new rent law. We ran a poll which said, what problems do you face while renting? 67% of people have said security deposit is the biggest problem. Water and electricity, 17%. Location, 17%. Where you want the house is not where you get. 17% of people have identified that as a problem. But the biggest problem that faces tenants today is security deposits. A whopping 67% of people have said the security deposit is what is currently killing the tenant. So let's see whether the new law, how soon the new law gets implemented.
Yeah.
On your part, please go to the website. We've given the details on our in the chat here. Go to the website, put in your own comments, and make sure that you participate in this process. Thank you so much for watching This Week in Property. I'm Jayashree Kurup, and this is Prabhakar Sinha.
Thank you.